Hello, Amanda Indigenakas. Bonjour. My name is Amanda. Today I will be giving a speech to honor AIM, the American Indian Movement. People always say America is the greatest country on earth, but would you still think that if you and your ancestors had to endure the hardships of Native Americans? Picture yourself doing your morning rituals and you get a knock at the door forcing you to send your children to school 100 miles away. Between 1819 and 1960, the boarding school mission was to kill the Indian and save the man. This was just one of the many attempts of genocide committed by the U.S. government. This topic holds a special place in my heart because I am Native American. I have endured some frustrations in life due to my ethnicity, but nowhere near as immense as my ancestors. I am where I am today thanks to all the Ogeechee warriors who fought and protested for Indigenous peoples' rights. Native Americans were not granted citizenship until 1924 and not full suffrage in all 50 states until 1962. Being the first people of the land meant nothing to the new founding fathers. Indigenous people felt injustice and knew something had to be done. Thus, AIM was formed. AIM is a group of activists fighting for the rights of Native Americans. They commenced a culture revitalization, led protests to advocate for equal treatment, and created jobs for the Native American people. I'll now move on to my main points of discussion. Boarding schools, loss of land through unfilled treaties, and pressures of integrating into mainstream settler American culture all contributed to the loss of Native American language and culture. Boarding schools ripped the language and culture from children. Children were subdued to harsh conditions and removed from families and communities. The loss of land resulted in the loss of culture identity for many Native Americans. Without the connection of land, which was built over hundreds of years and passed down from generation to generation, Indigenous people felt a sense of lost identity. The pressures of integrated into modern society in hopes to avoid restricted access to education, healthcare, and housing was also a contributing factor to the loss of culture. Even though there are many laws nowadays set in place to be inclusive, there are still loopholes that higher-ups use to deny Native people of quality education, healthcare, and housing. AIM directed protests supporting Indigenous interests and rights. They organized high-profile protests, such as in 1969, AIM occupied Alcatraz Island to demand justice and bring attention to discrimination against Native people. In 1972, the 12 Broken Treaties demonstration, which AIM members occupied the BIA office in Washington, D.C., to bring light to Native American issues such as treaty rights and living standards. In 1973, AIM occupied Wounded Knee to protest the federal government's policy towards Native people, which resulted in surrounding Wounded Knee, not letting people in or out, depriving them of basic human rights. This siege lasted several months. In 1978, AIM did the longest walk protest to object legislation that would have violated Native rights. In 1970, AIM started the Heart of the Earth Survival School. AIM identified the much needed education in their own community. Discrimination in public schools was widespread, leading to an 80% dropout rate. There was a higher number of children removed from their families and placed with non-Native families. AIM seen this as a form of genocide. AIM aspired to end this practice and opened a survival school to provide students labeled as truant an alternative to public schools. Heart of Earth schools lacked resources, but their vision included the restoration of vanishing knowledge like fishing, hunting, gathering, harvesting, and revitalizing Indigenous languages. Over the 35 years of existence, more Native students graduated than the Minneapolis public schools combined. AIM did so many great changes to the injustice done by the U.S. government. With the help of AIM, Native nations across the United States and Canada are able to revitalize their language and culture. AIM advocated for all Native people's rights, created jobs for indigenous communities, and created schools that help celebrate and teach culture-based education. Assimilation of Native Americans is often overlooked in American history, but with the help of American Indian movement, the truth will be set free. Ew.